collective tune in on Wednesday again. I have been trying to do it on Monday for you. It has not been working out. So I am a person who just really flows with the energy, and it's Pisces season. So if I want to be in bed this season, that's where I'm going to be. Moderation activity is hidden. Why? Show activity. Okay, cool. So this is where we take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energy inside of ourselves, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment, which looks Pisces as fuck right now for me. If we want to change the energy, we do have to shift the energy within inside of self in order to see change happen in our environment. So I will say, any of you who have been following me know that I'm in a state of flux. I am packing. I am moving out. So my room is kind of funky. I also just did laundry and didn't put it away because, again, Pisces season. So there's that. But I will put it away because it's really annoying me now that I can see it there. But welcome to my chaotic looking room right now, because that is kind of a reflection of how I'm up in the air. I'm about to make another big move. And if you followed me for the last couple of years, you know that I moved from the West Coast to the East Coast with the intention of ending up in Massachusetts. Realized that was going to be prohibitively expensive and also not really in alignment with my future goals. Even though I do want to live with my son, it's very complicated to have to move back to the place where your abuser lives in order to be able to have access to your son 50-50 according to the really terrible laws in Massachusetts. Don't get married in Massachusetts. Don't have children there. Pick another state and do that. That's my advice to you for the future. So I'm probably going to be moving somewhere totally different that I did not expect at all. And I don't know if it's long-term. I don't know if it's temporary, but so that's why I'm in a state of flux. There, my lights are going off. Stay on, please. Stay on. Thank you. Looks weird when you're off to me. Okay, so the collective tune in. Now, the music, we had the first song, which played before my people joined me on TikTok, was the song Open Book from Cake. You should probably go listen to the lyrics. They are very, very poignant for the divine masculine energy and the connection. We also had a song called Next Girl Come Up. And I want to talk about a phenomenon that's been happening for some of the people on the twin flame journey very recently. Their person that they've been focused on may have chosen someone else or moved to someone else or expressed that they are someone else that they're seeing. I have like a personal friend who just went through that. It keeps coming up in the cards and I want to address it. So what I said to the lovely people here on TikTok just before I started filming here is that if this is happening, you want to keep in mind a couple of things. Number one, most of the time what happens is as you work on your healing and focusing on yourself, etc., the masculine energy is usually reflecting back some of that work. They start to get overwhelmed and they can tend to decide, oh, I was a really bad person to the divine feminine in this last connection, and I want to be a better person, but I've done so many bad things in this other connection, or I've just not been the best version of myself, and this other person will never forgive me, or, it'll always be something that's between us. So rather than deal with it and take accountability, I'm going to just start completely fresh with someone completely new, and I'm going to treat this person the right way. So they will start a new relationship, and it's not meant to hurt you. It's not meant to make you jealous or make you feel bad. In fact, they're usually thinking to themselves that they're protecting you from themselves because they have an intuition that they're not completely healed yet. And they're thinking, if I start fresh with someone new, I won't make as many mistakes and I'll be able to heal, but I can't be alone. So there's that feeling of like, I don't want to be alone. Now, most of the divine feminines in the collective, or people who identify strongly in that energy, have worked on being alone for so long that we have some comfortability there. And it's actually harder for us to seek other relationships than it is for the masculine energy to do so. So we're at this point where we're okay on our own, which can be very threatening to the masculine because it can look like you do not need him, but you don't have to concern yourself about that because it's true. You don't need another person to give you the things that you need for yourself. You figure it out, or you're in the process of figuring out how to do that for yourself. So you're actually doing exactly what you're supposed to do. And that does include seeking out connection. So if you decide that when you see your person get into a connection, rather than wait for them to leave this other person, which I might add is envisioning the downfall of another person's connection, which is kind of like bad karma, even though you don't mean it to be. And just being like, okay, right now, at this point in both of our journeys, we are meant to learn about love and connection through another connection. Then you can start to free yourself up and open yourself up for your connection to come in, somebody that's going to show you how much work you've done and how good you can be treated, because your person is usually not in any place to show you that because they've never treated you well like that before. So it may be a time right now, depending on where you are in your journey, to shift into a new connection, experience a profound, loving connection, and take your focus off of that one person who is now in another relationship or saying they're going to enter into one or whatever it is. Now, I'm making that sound so easy. It's not so easy. So I don't blame you if you have feelings of jealousy come up, or if you feel sadness or regret or like a loss of something. And I want you to feel those feelings and process the grief. That's one of the only ways to work through that energy so that you can open up to really receive love from anyone, much less the person who you're focused on. Now, what normally happens is your healing is reflected back to you. So, your person's intention to start a good relationship with someone else is a true intention. And again, it's not meant to be malicious, or it's like they're not taking vengeance on you or being like, well, I'll show her and I'll be with someone else. It's not like that. If it is, you're probably with somebody that's not really ascended enough to be in a relationship with you anyway. And it's like, not going to hurt anybody for you to say goodbye to them. But most of the time, there is this niggling feeling that this person takes into the new connection that they have unfinished business with the divine feminine. And so until they take accountability, whether that's apologizing or whatever, they're just going to keep feeling that way. Just like how you keep feeling some type of way when you try to enter into other connections, or you try to be at peace in other connections. The same thing will happen. So depending on where you are in your journey and how much work you've done on self-love and accountability and unconditional love towards others, it's possible that your person, out of respect for the new person, because they want to act differently to this new person, they may end things with them so that they can come and finish their business with you. Now, that doesn't always happen, so I don't think you should sit there writing their names on bay leaves and, wishing that they break up with this other person, because you want them to fully process whatever their healing is in this next relationship before they come to you. That's really important. You would want to have the same space, and so give them that same space too. And I just felt like I had to say something about that because I do know some people are going through that right now. And it's really important. So go and do you and be you and enjoy that immensely, and find appreciation and gratitude for where you are right now, and let them do the same thing and wish them the best. Wish them happiness with this new person. Wish them practicing how to be in a healthy, stable, balanced relationship. If you feel resentment, like, oh, I taught them that and now they're giving it to someone else, that's your ego. Take a step back from that energy and really reflect upon that, because it's actually showing that you have a lot of unhealed energy that you're still carrying, because you told yourself from the beginning that you love this person. So love does not look like anger and resentment. It looks like forgiveness, compassion. It looks like wishing this person to have the best experience of this new person. You can be a little petty about it at first, that's fine. But once you process the initial shock or the feelings that are uncomfortable, start to really look at how you really do value and love this person, how you really do want them to find happiness. And if somebody told you, listen, this person could not be happy with anyone in their lives if they didn't have this experience with you, and they're not going to be able to be with you in this lifetime, but you taught them how to have happy relationships in this lifetime and the next. As a person who unconditionally loves somebody, wouldn't you feel good about that if you were in a healed place where your ego wasn't running the show? Wouldn't you be like, wow, I'm so happy that we fulfilled the contract we had with each other in this lifetime, and now we can both have healthy relationships from now until we pass into the next incarnation and on from that. So the next lifetime, we won't even have these obstacles. We may come together right away when we first see each other without any of the turmoil, because we've learned how to love. And if you can really allow for that to be the truth, that can be a very peaceful feeling. And I promise you, it feels a lot better than just feeling like it didn't work out and feeling resentment and feeling anger and possession and all kinds of things like that. So that is my advice to you if your person has just started seeing someone else. And I think a lot of times we're encouraged to see that other person as just a karmic and da 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 da. But I want you to see that person as a person who has the hopefulness and excitement that you have when you start a relationship. And depending on how healed your person is, that will also be reflected back in whoever they choose. So if your person is more healed, then they've probably chosen somebody who's a lot more healed as well. And if they're very unhealed, the same thing is true. So let it be. But let's focus on the masculine and feminine energy within inside of us. We'll see it reflected back to us, and then we can kind of assess what we need to do and get the advice we need moving on from this point. Okay. I see some people. Oh, thank you for saying that my videos are spot on for your twin flame journey. My hope is that I draw you in as a person who's like, oh my God, this is my journey. And then you kind of segue over into, oh my God, I'm so passionate and creative. I want to follow that. And you head over to my Prayers TikTok for the 30-day challenge, and you start challenging yourself to fulfill your own dreams while you're learning all about your masculine and feminine energy. That is my goal as a healer. That is how I have made peace with doing twin flame readings and helping people follow their passions. You can also work one-on-one with me if that's something you would like to do. All the links you need are either in the description box below here on YouTube, or if you click my profile, there's a link in my profile, and you should find everything that you need there. Okay, let's begin. We're going to start with divine masculine energy. We've been starting with feminine a lot lately, but let's start with the divine masculine energy today. We're looking at overall energy. I'm using the Ethereal Visions Tarot in the head space and the Fountain Tarot in the heart space. We have the Ace of Swords in reverse and the Two of Wands upright. So right away, we can see that the divine masculine is deceiving himself about a connection. Now, this is either somebody he's recently crossed paths with, who he feels is a soulmate, or it's about the connection with the divine feminine, where he's not seeing clearly the truth about the feminine in his life, about how she is his match, his counterpart, or he's questioning that truth, or he's having a hard time seeing a future with her because of everything that has happened on their journey. But definitely we're seeing some self-deception going on in regards to what he has asked for. So this can mean not just your person, remember, but you. So you're like, this person, I'm sure, is my twin. And the universe is like, no, no, not the right one. That's for some people. For other people, it's like, this person isn't my soulmate because they're doing X, Y, and Z right now. And if they were my soulmate, then they would be doing what I want them to do. And the universe is like, no, they're your soulmate, but you're going through your journey and you're doing things right now that are actively keeping this person from being in alignment with you. It's just not about them. It's about the way you're thinking. So that's for some also. And you'll probably go through this throughout the journey. Since these are collective readings, you're coming in at the beginning of your journey, the middle of your journey, the end of your journey. So you'll probably go through this experience a lot where you'll be like, it's my twin. It's not my twin. It's my twin. This one's my twin. Now this one, is this my twin? Is there any twins? Is it a false twin? And it doesn't really matter, because what you start to learn as you ascend on this journey is that every person functions as a reflection. The twin shows you the mirror, and then you get to use that information in every single relationship that shows up for you. In fact, in every single experience that shows up for you. My room right now is a reflection of how my whole life is a little bit chaotic. Like the external environment I'm sitting in is like, I'm half packed, right? I'm half ready to go. I'm not entirely sure what I'm exactly the date I'm going to leave. I'm not entirely sure like what I'm going to take with me. I'm in the process of figuring all of that out. But very soon, in a few weeks, I will be gone from this space and moved on to a new place and a new focus in my life. And I might not see exactly where I'm going on my journey, and that can also be reflected in these two cards. So that's the masculine energy overall in this dynamic. Not seeing the truth, not facing the truth, not telling the truth, particularly in regards to soulmate relationships and the divine feminine. Underlying all thoughts and decisions, we have this Queen of Pentacles and the Death card. So there is either that the divine masculine thought that a certain person was the one, and that is now over for him. He's no longer thinking that. He's like, oh, I got that wrong. That person definitely wasn't the one for me, or it suddenly died. There's also this transformation energy, which can be my feelings are reborn for a specific feminine. It can be the divine feminine, or it can be another divine feminine reflected back to him in another person. But there is something that died and something that is reborn. So he might have ended the way he was feeling about one person and started on this new journey with another person. Now, seeing as this self-deception card is coming in, he's not really seeing something clearly. For instance, my person keeps like acting depressed and asserting that I'm gone. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? And so that makes me question. I'm like, wait, maybe he doesn't feel anything for me, because maybe he's focused on someone else who's gone for his life, because I'm literally right here being like, do you want to talk? I'm ready to talk. But he literally cannot see that, or I can't see the person that I'm focused on isn't really thinking about me. There's like one of those things is happening. My thoughts that he might not think it's me, that's making that my reality right now. So you have to remember that you're a reflection of this energy, and come back to that energy within self. The other meanings, now this can be the death of a maternal figure in a person's life. Grandmother, mother, guardian, somebody that was nurturing or not so nurturing, passing away. That can actually be just that experience has happened for the masculine. Can also be his connection with the mother of his children is over in some cases. He can also just feel like the wounds he's carried from the maternal energy are healed and being transformed within him. All those things going on. That's why these readings take me so long, because we have so many people in the collective reading, and I'm trying to hit as many of these things as I can. The first thing on his mind, regret, sadness, strength, and confidence. This is interesting because these two cards are really related. So he regrets the things that have happened before. Now, he could be thinking about how his connection with the one he wanted had ended. And he has moved into a state where he has to control his negative thoughts, his tendency towards pessimism, like I was just talking about, thinking like, oh, this person's not for me, etc., and bring more confidence, because he feels confident that things can work out. This is this feeling that, listen, things can work out. There's still these two cups here hidden behind you. So yeah, things didn't go very well, but they could still work out. Like they could still go well. He knows that he needs to have more confidence and focus more on what could go well and not on what has consistently gone wrong, because that's something that he has a tendency to do. Focus on what has gone wrong in the connection rather than on what could go right. And it can be very frustrating to watch the masculine do this when you're like, I'm right here. Why do you think this isn't going to go well? I'm literally going to accept your apology. Just give me one and we can start talking, right? So he's working on building up the confidence and the strength to really believe that he can be with the person that he really desires to be with. Now, here we go. In the current energy, we have the Knight of Cups, the Two of Pentacles. These came out together. And then we got the Two of Cups and Caution. So this divine masculine energy is in this wishy-washy dynamic where he is juggling potentially two connections. And he's feeling that he needs to be cautious with this energy. So now remember, many stages many phases of the journey. Some people are with a person right now who is focused on two connections at once and trying to juggle the responsibilities of that. Others are at a point where they're changing this behavior. They're no longer trying to have two people at once because they have learned from past experience that that doesn't work. Now, you might be on the receiving end and be the person who he's like, listen, you got to move on because I want to focus on one person at a time. Now, that might feel really painful, but you have to acknowledge that that is actually progress. Because in the past, he wouldn't have said anything and he would have just kept trying to fulfill two people's needs and failing for both of these people. Choosing to focus on one thing is something he has to be able to do if he's ever going to be successful in a connection with you. So while it sucks to be the one that is let go, it shows you that you're now attracting masculine energy that has the ability to stop juggling. So that's a positive thing. And it might mean the person that you were originally focused on isn't the one for you. And you are ready now to call in somebody who won't juggle you with other energy and who will make the same decision to actually focus on you. So remember, you're the one who has to stay optimistic. This can be a bad thing for you. You can wallow in the feelings of it not being what you want and feeling bad about it, or you can accept this as a positive sign that the masculine energy in your life no longer plays games or tries to juggle two people at once. That might also be why we're getting that double-edged sword thing, because it's a double-edged sword. Okay. Where is this heading? The Star, the Six of Wands, and trust. So this is all about vulnerability and healing. This is all about success and overcoming internal struggles and victory and bringing peace to the feminine energy after a time of a lot of struggle. And this is trusting, a feeling of trust. So this divine masculine is feeling like he can trust feminine energy and that he has overcome a lot of his feelings of not being able to trust another energy. Part of that is coming from the fact that he's unwilling to focus on more than one person if he's at that stage in his journey. If he's at an earlier stage where he's trying to do that, then this is what he's going to learn. He has to trust his feelings and intuition, because if he doesn't, he will end up feeling defeated by the situation. But for me, a lot of us have moved past that point, and this is really where the masculine is beginning to trust the feelings he has for this feminine energy, a feeling of she is the one for me. So some people are not entering into, I should say this because I focused a little bit on people who might have third party energy. Some people are not at all involved in third parties and have no desire to be with a new person. So let me say that. And those people are just having a hard time believing in the person being their soulmate. And they are transforming this energy, this fear inside of themselves. And they're working on being confident that they can trust in the connection. And we're seeing that they are going to be able to trust in the connection. And they're going to choose it. They're going to change this wishy-washy behavior, actually come forward cautiously for a meetup and overcome their fears and show that they can be vulnerable and trust in the feminine energy. So I should say that. Clarifying the Five of Cups confidence, or the Five of Cups strength and confidence, we have the Eight of Wands, the Five of Wands, which is the struggle that we see that they're about to overcome, and this card of disruption. So blocked communication has caused a lot of disruption in the connection. It's caused a lot of regret for the divine masculine. And the reason that he's had a hard time with communication and felt very blocked is because he has not had the confidence to speak up and communicate with the feminine in the past. And so he's really overcoming the struggle that he's had with being able to say what he wants to say. He fears disruption. He fears conflict. He has had to get control over that feeling so that he can actually speak what's on his mind and communicate. He's also been afraid that when he does communicate, it will cause a major disruption in the connections from his past. So if he has family members that he's still responsible for, or has relationships with, that can cause, them to be upset, different things like that. You're going to see him being very cautious and worried about conflict in that way. This is in the past, though. And this is what he's been working on. Clarifying the Knight of Cups, the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Cups, and the Caution, we have the Knight of Wands, the Four of Swords, the Nine of Pentacles. He's overthinking a lot in this present moment, and the card of Magic. Okay, so now for those that have entered into a third-party connection to try to start fresh with someone else or whatever, we're seeing that there is this healing energy. This is the Four of Swords, of this inability to be committed or consistent. And also this healing of self-indulgence. When we see the Nine of Pentacles and it's in its shadow, it's somebody who's like really self-indulgent, you know, having a lot of shallow connections, constantly just like feeding the flesh instead of the mind or the soul. And so there's healing that has to take place in order for this to be overcome. This Magic card is making me think, obviously, of the Magician. The Magician is somebody who is co-creating, who has all the tools that they need available to them, and is trying to will something, is trying to manifest something. So what we're seeing is this above here with this caution regarding coming together with the Divine Feminine in the physical. We're seeing that he's really wanted to make sure that he has healed any of this energy within him of attachment to the Divine Feminine that causes him to be too grasping, healing sexual energy that's not fully mastered, and healing any kinds of manipulation or pushiness or fears of manipulation or pushiness from any feminine energy in his life. He's having to really heal all of that. We're also seeing that the no communication is how he's protecting himself from love bombing. So if your person has completely disappeared and isn't communicating with you anymore, and you're like, I don't understand what changed, this is what changed. He experienced a lot of grief and regret from how he treated the feminine in the past. He needs to heal from this, and he is remaining completely silent to do so. Silence is a place where you can heal. Silence allows for healing that, you know, speaking doesn't really allow for. So he is working on that. And then the outcome, which is pretty positive, the Star, the Six of Wands, and Trust. Oh my God in heaven. Okay. We have the Lover's card, the Ten of Cups, and the Peace card. Now this is what victory brings. So that Six of Wands brings peace. The Ten of Cups, which is this liberating, blissful feeling, and the Lover's card, which is choosing. So we see that this masculine energy is going to overcome that feeling, the blocked communication, by choosing to trust in the love that he feels and finally being at peace and pursuing what would make him feel really good, which is the love that he feels for the Divine Feminine. So this is trusting in the victory, that he will overcome the wounds that have caused him to act the way he acted in the past, so that he can actually choose to be in a very loving, healed connection that will bring joy and bliss and happiness. So that is very positive. And even if your person has chosen someone else right now to learn this lesson with, it's still benefiting you, because you are also going to be able to do this. You're also going to be making choices, overcoming the struggle of having people that don't communicate or are emotionally unavailable. You're attracting people that you can have the same victory and success and trust and peace and bliss with for a time, if not for the long term. So embrace that, because if you focus on the jealousy or the feeling, you know, of not being complete or not being whole, that's just showing you that you still have some of that healing to do, which the silence and the distance and the space is actually allowing you to do. All right. Now we're going to look at the feminine energy. Please do not disregard feminine energy because you are so indoctrinated to do so by the patriarchy. Feminine energy is not just your energy if you're a divine feminine. It is also the person that you're focused on. I also try not to say that you are the divine feminine, because you're not. I love you, but you're not a divine being. You are a human being with divinity within you, which is called anthropos. So you are a person that has divine feminine and divine masculine energy in balance. Sometimes your masculine energy takes the lead, sometimes your feminine takes the lead, and it kind of loops in that infinity loop. And that is really what the twin flame journey is about, what the lessons are about. They are not just about getting together with one person, having a power couple, and then taking over the world and having billions of dollars. That is the egotistical version of the twin flame journey. To verify what I'm saying, it is 12:21 on the clock right now, which is twin flame number, because it's mirrored energy. So we just moved to 12:22. I am telling you the truth. You can find other readers who will tell you, oh, you can only be with this one person, and you're going to be this power couple. Da, 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 da. That is an ego-based version of the twin flame story. It's something we all believe for a time. Usually we move through it because we start to see that, like most spiritual journeys, have nothing to do with what the ego desires. It doesn't mean you don't get to be with the person you're focused on. It just means it doesn't matter if you are, because ultimately you've learned all of these skills, so your relationships in general are amazing. And it really doesn't matter who comes into your world. It could be the person who delivers your mail. You're going to have an incredible interaction with that person because you are appreciating them as a human being, and you're appreciating the divinity that's within them, and you're appreciating what they do for you and the sacrifices they make, and you're having empathy and compassion and insight and wisdom about every single relationship that you have coming into your world. That's the gift of the twin flame journey. It's not like, $1 billion. Like, that's really not what it's about. Maybe you have $1 billion later because you're in such peace and flow and you allow abundance and whatever, but I don't know. I'm not picturing that a lot of twins become billionaires, because I feel like most people who consider themselves twins are people who try to contribute and give back and leave the world a better place. And hoarding all of your money isn't a way that you leave the world a better place. Taking your wealth, distributing your wealth, and helping create amazing businesses and helping people, come up from their poverty and from pain and from suffering. Those are the kinds of things that most people who are in the spiritual community are interested in doing. So I'm just not picturing, if you're a person that's like, oh, I'm going to have all this amazing, crazy, ego stuff that's going to feel good. None of that stuff feels good. Like, just so you know, like freedom is what feels good, but freedom from attachment feels better than financial freedom. Like, if you can be happy in a prison cell, you could be happy anywhere. If you can feel free when you're completely constrained, and you're going to feel free when you have lots of wealth as well. So keep that in mind. I have to remind myself of that all the time because I want $1 billion. Last night I was dreaming that I was getting my nails done, which is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I was having anxiety in the dream about how I was going to pay for my nails. I was like, even in my dreams, I can't just have like the freedom to get my nails done. Like, that is crazy. My lack mindset is so strong. I really have to work on it. So I know that feeling of wanting money and wealth, because you're like, that lack feeling will be gone. But I know people with a lot of money who just constantly worry about money and feel lack. So it's not that. It's not that. Keep that in mind. All right, Divine Feminine, top of the deck, overall feeling of the head space, the Hierophant card, overall feeling of the heart space. Hey, this is familiar. It's the Five of Cups, and we saw the Five of Cups over on the Divine Masculine side. Everything is so organized and pretty. I don't want to wreck my cards to hold it up, but you saw it. It was the Five of Cups was the first thing on the Divine Masculine spine. It's also it's the overall feeling that the Divine Feminine feels right now. So the Hierophant is somebody who's overcome, they've ascended this sadness, depression, and regret. So this feminine is focused on her spiritual journey, and she's not letting the things that happen to her that disappoint her dictate her freedom and liberation, which we just talked about. This person is blissful on this journey. They're blissed out. They're able to meditate, get into a space where they feel good. and be very positive, even amidst things that are not the greatest happening. One of my good friends who I'm planning to go and stay with probably has been going through a lot of very extreme um, experiences of grief recently in the last month, and still able to laugh and still able to smile, and not disregard the grief or pretend it's not there, but be able to find still things to look forward to, things to feel good about, even in the midst of deep sadness and regret. And the feminine has learned this spiritual lesson, which is a beautiful lesson. It's necessary for her to be happy in any context, um so we're seeing ascension. There's a focus on staying committed to remaining optimistic no matter what happens. There is a feeling of, you know, really commitment to the self here that's going on with this feminine energy emotionally. Underlying all her thoughts and decisions, we're seeing the Knight of Wands in the headspace. By the way, this is the Light Seers Tarot, and I'm using the Disney Villains Tarot, which I'm never going to stop using for for at least another month. Okay, so we saw the Knight of Wands over for the Divine Masculine as well. So there's another point of union there in the spreads. We did not see the Chariot over there, so it was just the Knight of Wands we saw. But in this Knight of Wands, Divine Feminine is wild. She's unpredictable. She's fiery and she's passionate. And then the Chariot card is about getting some of that under control. The wildness, the inconsistency. We see that she's trying to be very committed to something. If you're committed to something, you're definitely staying consistent. So she's surrendering to this feeling that the divine has knows where she needs to go and is kind of driving the chariot. She's surrendered the reins, but I think what we're seeing her is this surrendering to her passions and letting her passions lead the way. Now, what's really interesting is in this Light Seers Tarot, we see 4 wands behind her, and that's also a sign of commitment because it's the four of wands is about stable, healthy relationships. So by surrendering to her passions, so creativity, for me, this is music, it's teaching, it's tarot, it's helping other people follow their passions. To surrender to that journey is helping me to overcome my inconsistencies in the past. So my tendency to be hot and cold with my creativity or with my willingness to stay committed to something that I know will make my life better. I have surrendered that energy and I now allow my higher self to direct me. My higher self is the best version of myself. It's already got all the wealth and abundance and wisdom and knowledge and security and safety that I'm seeking. And I surrender to that power because that's like, that version of me is like, listen, I know where you need to go. I know who you need to talk to. I know what you need to do because I did it, girl. I did it already. I did it already because time isn't a line. Time is not linear. Everything is happening all at once, which is very hard to embrace because our perception is so limited. But truly, your higher self already accomplished it. That's why you can say honestly to yourself when you do affirmations, it's done. It's already done. It's done. It's done. There is a version of me that has completed this. It's already finished. So surrendering to that. Her passions are the leader. They are showing her where she needs to go. And her higher self is helping her get there. So this Divine Feminine is in a pretty good place and has made major changes in her life to overcome the feelings of struggle and inconsistency that she's experienced, not only from the people who she's tried to be in relationship with, but also in regards to her relationship that she has with creativity, emotion, and whatever she wants to do or be in this world. The first thing on her mind is the Page of Swords, the Nine of Wands in the heart space, and consciousness. Very interesting. So the Page of Swords is all about learning and curiosity and the energy of watching and observing. The Nine of Wands is all about victim mentality when it's in its shadow. When it's in its light, it's about healing the wounds, deep wounds we've had from our past in isolation, kind of going off on our own and doing our thing. And then this consciousness card is, of course, about consciousness. So that higher self that we're seeing coming in and driving the chariot. And what I'm seeing is what the first thing she's thinking about is learning how to heal her perception of consciousness. Because we also see her looking into this mirror here through the twin flame journey, I believe, because that mirror is representing that reflection that we see in this other person. So she's thinking about everything she's learned on her journey. She's pretty exhausted by the journey also. She's been in this state of just being watched by somebody without communication, and it kind of has a feeling of being drained. She's conscious that this other person is observing her while she's alone and doing her healing. And I think she tries to observe this other person, but they are so stuck in their victim mentality. So what they're putting out into the media is either just, it's just about how sad and depressed and exhausted they are, or how they're being victimized by this other person, or maybe they've completely isolated themselves and they're not showing any part of themselves at all. And so there's this perception here that, she can't even see this process of healing of this other person, but she's conscious that it's taking place. So that's the first thing that we see her thinking about. Now, in the current energy, wow. Okay, so we've got the Tower, the Knight of Coins, and Illumination. Now, my friend just pulled cards to me yesterday, or I think it was 2 days ago, and she said, "Why do you want to move so slowly?" And I had to laugh because I just keep thinking about how slowly my masculine person is moving. But as soon as she asked me that, I was like, so I can be careful, so that I won't fuck it up, so that it will be perfect, because I don't feel confident, because I don't trust yet in my ability to earn enough abundance to pay the rent for a new place, to pay all the bills I have to pay. Like, I could feel myself trudging, plotting in this Knight of Pentacles energy, all of the reasons why I need to go carefully and precisely and do the right thing, because I'm afraid to change or shake that energy up, because if I do, what if I fail? What if I become homeless again? It's happened to me before. What if I get my car repossessed again? That's happened to me before. All the fears or things that have happened to me before because I've lost control of something, or because I've had bad luck in my mind, or whatever it is. That's why I'm going so slowly. Then she had the bottom of the deck in that reading was the Queen of Pentacles, which was the thing I couldn't see. The Queen of Pentacles has all she needs. She can provide it for herself, and she has so much she can even provide it to others who are worthy of her time. She's independent, she's wealthy, she's abundant and creative. So me moving slowly is showing that I don't trust that that's who I am at my core, even though it was right there at the bottom of the deck to show me that's who I really was. And that's where this Illumination card comes in. So we have the Tower card, which is shaking things up. So forcing you to release this slow-moving perfectionistic energy, because you want happiness and joy. You want light to come in. Look how dark these two cards are. And then we have this bright illumination coming, which is also reflected to us with this lightning bolt. So something is zapping this divine feminine into moving a lot more more quickly, to stop withholding from herself and others. She's really seeing how this energy plays out and where it comes from, and then it's very fear-based. And she's also conscious that when she looks at the masculine, when she goes and peeks at his social media, the way that he's doing to hers, she's seeing this person reflecting the same healing back to her. One time I posted this thing about my finances being really fucked up. And then that night, my person posted like attracts like. And I was like, okay. So we know one of the reasons why nothing is happening on his end is because of his fucked up finances. How do I fix that problem? Go and text him a message. Oh, baby, it doesn't matter to me how much money you make. No, that's not how we fix the problem. The way we fix the problem is we take a good hard look at why you don't feel secure. So I had to look at why I still have issues with feeling secure. Work on my security, and then that mirror image will reflect it back to me, because like attracts like, right? So where do we go after we stop moving so slowly, stop holding ourselves back, allow that light to come in, follow that illumination where we want to go? Where do we go? We get the Ace of Pentacles, we get the Judgment card, and we get movement. Now, of course, if we haven't been moving at all and lightning comes in and is like, you need to get out of here, which, by the way, March is supposed to be like a crazy month for everybody. I saw somebody post that in the comments here. March is supposed to be like a shakeup. And when you get to the end of the month, everything will have changed in your situation. You will likely be moving. I am probably going to be moving by the end of the month. I'm definitely getting out of here. So there's going to be movement. There's going to be a reconciliation potentially with somebody. And there's going to be some kind of an offer coming in. Abundance, wealth, and prosperity. Forgiveness of the self for not knowing how valuable you were is a big lesson that comes from illumination. A lot of times we allow somebody to breadcrumb because we feel like a little dog begging. We feel like a little dog being like, oh, can I have some? Oh, please, can I have some? And once we recognize that we were not really viewing ourselves as worthy and we dramatically change how we look at ourselves, then we can finally have all that abundance that we've been asking for someone else to give us when it was really just within inside of us and meant to be reflected back to us. So there's going to be movement into reconciliation, maybe getting an offer of some kind of an apology from somebody, or, finally accepting your own apology to yourself and moving on and starting to pursue whatever will bring you wealth and abundance in your life. Then we have clarifying the Page of Swords, the Nine of Wands, and the Consciousness card. We have the Knight of Swords, the Moon, and love. So the Knight of Swords is graduating. The Page of Swords is working up the courage to speak the truth, but needs to learn more really to feel fully capable. The Knight of Swords follows a really specific strategy that was implemented by, or that was created by the Queen of Swords and then implemented by the King of Swords. So the Queen of Swords comes up with a plan. The King of Swords is like, I like that. I'm going to tell my soldiers how to do it. They reveal the strategy to all of the knights, and the knights follow that strategy to where they need to go. And they do it with truth and integrity. And it's fast moving energy because they know exactly what they need to do. Then we see the Moon card, which is all about the subconscious and dreams and fears and anxieties. It's about deep, deep emotions. And coming out with this Love card, it's this desire to fully reveal our true feelings about love. Dig out those hidden truths. Find those hidden truths about love, because there is something in our consciousness that we have healed. And use the Page of Swords to learn about it. So we probably learned about, maybe we had anxious avoidant attachment. Maybe we, had some kind of inner childhood wounds that caused us to look at certain ways people treated us as normalized, even though it wasn't normal to treat somebody that you love the way that you were treated. But we've done whatever we needed to do to reveal some of the truths about ourselves during that healing process, so that we can move much faster than that Knight of Pentacles towards our illumination, right? Which the Moon also represents. So that's what we've been working on. In the current energy under the Tower, the Knight of Pentacles, and illumination, we've got the Four of Cups. This is not the first time we see her today. The King of Wands, and sweetness. Okay. So what has been coming so very slowly is now coming to light, and it's going to be shocking. That's why the Tower is here. We're going to be shocked because we've been disappointed by these missed opportunities so many times before. We have these big dreams and big fantasies, and we've been waiting for that Knight of Coins, plotting to be able to make it all happen. But right now, what's happening is we're really inspired to be much more bold in our lives, because we want to experience this sweetness that we've been missing. We're seeing love and sweetness. There's a lot of pink in Divine Feminine spread right now. So there is definitely this feeling of seeking and receiving love that we're looking at. And I do see a masculine energy able to finally give an offer of sweetness to the feminine. So to, do something really heartfelt for the feminine. Wow. Then, clarifying the Ace of Pentacles, the Judgment card, and the Movement card, we are getting Death and Rebirth, the Ace of Cups, and this Cleanse card. Now, blue is all about speaking the truth. It's about, in this case, we're looking at a cleansing energy. It's also a calming energy spiritually. The Death card we saw for the Divine Masculine over here underlying all his thoughts and decisions. And the Ace of Cups is a card of self-love and being able to see a cup that's as filled up as yours offered to you, which is what we were hoping for with that Four of Cups energy. So we see a transformation. Something that has died is reborn in this new love, and the old is washed away. So, for those of you that fear, because there are many tarot readers that feed you into the illusion that you can't let go of your person and all this kind of stuff. For those of you that fear that if new love came, that you wouldn't be able to really embrace it because you can't think of anybody except for your person, this is to clarify for you that that's not true. That when something old dies and something new is reborn, the old is cleansed and washed away. Now, this can be your self-concept. It can be your concept about another person or people in your life. Hi, Jessa, welcome. And it can also be about having completely new person and, kind of being cleansed from that old pattern or that old energy and having something entirely new come your way. Wow, that was a lot. We're going to finish up here with oracles, which are going to give us some advice, a little bit more insight into some of the cards that came out. And after that, if there's time, I will do some personal readings for $11 or $22 or $33. There is a link in my profile. Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App is accepted. You can also book private video readings or one-on-ones there. I think I didn't change it yet. So the one-on-one is still $55 instead of $111, but that will be returning to $111 as soon as I remember to change it. So you better get there fast and book it if you want it, because technically yesterday was the last day, but I didn't do live readings the last couple of days. So I will leave that open through the next 24 hours. So if you want to book a $55, 50% off reading, normally $111 virtual with me, go take advantage of that today. Okay, so Divine Masculine, the message for him right now is to learn from the past. And we're seeing Elephant Spirit. So Elephant Spirit is here to help him with this energy. And this is the advice for learning from the past. Are you feeling uncomfortable with a tradition, custom, or familiar behavior that no longer fits who you are? Do you wish the past could be erased so it could no longer cause you a moment's pain? Elephant Spirit is here to encourage you to write a different story and alter the traditions in ways that acknowledge that we all evolve, for transformation is our nature. Elephant Spirit calls you to not be selective in your memory, because ignoring the good or the bad will prevent you from growing your wisdom and strength. Build on the best of the past, learn from the worst, and walk into the future with dignity, accompanied by Elephant Spirit, who remembers the truth and honors your strength and wisdom. Now, this is so in alignment with, for me, feeling called today to channel through that message from the song Next Girl, where I was feeling that there are some people, not everybody, but some people in the collective whose person may have just entered into another relationship. Understand that this card is emphasizing what I said, which is for those of the masculine energy, and this includes you, by the way, you might just be trying to enter into another relationship just to try to avoid dealing with the wounds you have that are keeping you in a consistent pattern with your person that you're focused on. So it's not just that your person might be entering into a third-party relationship, but you might be trying to escape whatever wounding you have that's keeping you in a holding pattern with your person right now. So keep that in mind. But when you ignore the good or the bad, you will prevent yourself from growing your wisdom and strength. Now, that's so interesting because the very first cards that came out for this reading, we see this masculine ignoring the good and the bad. And then we're seeing the strength card and the confidence card. So really take the advice of this card right now, because the only way that you're going to be able to heal these wounds that have caused you to make the choices that you've made is to remember the past, to honor the past. I just want to read it one more time what that last sentence says, because it's important. Build on the best of the past, learn from the worst, and walk into the future with dignity, accompanied by elephant spirit who remembers the truth and honors your strength and wisdom. And look at that, because this masculine was having trouble with the truth. So hiding the truth from himself, telling himself, oh, I'll just go this direction, and then, I'll just ignore all the things that were causing this other person to not talk to me, or for me to feel like I couldn't talk to them, whichever person is doing that. And okay, wow. Trust your intuition. We're getting a purple card. Now, when I look at the reading for the masculine, I think he got a lot of variety here. I think maybe there might be 2 purple cards. Let me check, because I like to read the color that is repeated the most. Yeah, so trust is blue, but I think that, what color? What's magic? Magic might be pink. Where's magic blue? I love this deck. This is the Prisma Visions Oracle. Magic is purple. Okay, so purple is a big color for the masculine right now, so we're going to read purple. Purple is often associated with royalty and wealth, as well as mystery, spiritual awareness, and mysticism. It has the shortest light wavelength, and it is tied to both the crown and the third eye energy centers. Located at the top of the head, the crown energy center, which is represented by violet, allows us to connect to a higher level of awareness. The third eye is said to be where one can make intuitive or psychic downloads, as it sees what is not present to the naked eye. In witchcraft, purple is a wonderful color to surround yourself with when you're working on cultivating your creativity or enhancing intuitive ability. If mostly purple cards come up in a reading, it is most likely a signal that you are in the process of creating a deeper relationship with your intuition, higher self, or higher source. Embrace this energy and newfound connection, but remember to stay grounded and in touch with your body too, through acts of creativity or reconnection with the earth. Hi, Cheryl. Okay, so the card says, intuition is an inner knowing that we all possess. Society encourages us to ignore the deep knowledge that sits within us and ask us to use intellect instead. But sometimes intellect alone can't guide you where you need to go. The more you pay attention to your intuition, the stronger it becomes. What is your intuition trying to tell you? Where is it guiding you? Now, a mistake a lot of people make when they listen to tarot readings. Some people, they make the tarot readings seem like they're only about another person. And so, when you're listening to a reading like that, of course, you're going to assume this reading is about the person I'm focused on. But it's a mistake to think that way, because the truth is you are attracting a person who acts the way that you think and feel at some level inside of you, whether it's subconscious, deeply embedded, or whether you're just not aware of how you are like that. So when you hear the masculine side and you're thinking about a person who's a masculine energy and you're thinking, yeah, this bro needs to trust his intuition more, you have to check yourself, because this is your moment of reflection where you're like, wait, I need to trust my intuition more. What am I ignoring right now? What feelings do I have that I'm actually ignoring? I'm trying to use my intellect, to tell me the truth, when what I need to do is trust my intuition. Intuition always feels a little uncomfortable. Fear feels, it's clear that it's fear because it's a lot uncomfortable. Usually you get like a wave of hot or cold, or you're anxious, your mind is going 1,000 miles an hour. When you are feeling intuition, you're going to feel a little off, because you're going to feel like there is something you need to pay attention to, but you're not going to feel scared. Your mind isn't going to be racing. There's a calm feeling that comes from intuition. So if you've got your mind being like, well, maybe he's seeing somebody else, maybe it's not even you. Like, I mean, what if it is somebody else? What if it's not you? Like, I don't think it's you. That's not your intuition. If your feeling is like, I think there might be someone, or I should say feel, because think is the ego and feel is intuition. I feel there might be some other distraction the masculine is prioritizing right now. And I feel that is taking his focus away from me. And I feel that instead of reacting to that, I should focus more on me. Because if somebody is refusing to focus on me, then I must be refusing to focus on me too. That's intuition. It's not going to feel scary. It's going to feel like, I'm not, something is a little, and then it's going to just be calmer like that. So that's a good way to understand how to trust your intuition. Mending. So this is what's going on for the masculine, number 52. And what I said is really valuable, by the way. If your person is not focused on you, 150% you are not focused on you. 200% you are not focused on you. Because when you focus on you, everyone starts focusing on you. If that's uncomfortable, then you know that to give yourself attention is something that is uncomfortable for you to do. Or you don't feel worthy of receiving attention or worthy of people focusing on you, or you fear that you will be violated or hurt in some way if people pay attention to you in a way that you don't have control over. So keep that in mind. Mending. Forgiveness, making amends, healing after arguments. Each time we are hurt and allow the hurt to pass through us without understanding and integration, we accumulate an unwanted burden. This keeps us chained to the very things we need to heal: the pain, the memories, the echoes of resentments, and the arguments that we rehearse over and over. Now is the time for mending rifts, healing wounds, and letting go of the old hurts in order to reclaim your power. Now is the time to forgive, to release, to make peace, and to make amends to others and set yourself free. So this masculine person in your life, or the person that's reflecting your masculine energy, you know intuitively that it is time for them to ask for forgiveness, right? That also means that you probably need to ask yourself for forgiveness. I'm sorry for ignoring you. I'm sorry for not paying attention to you. I'm sorry that I didn't honor and respect your desire to be doing work that feels really good in this life. I'm sorry that I overlooked your needs. I'm sorry that I overlooked the needs of your body. I'm sorry that I let this go so far before I addressed the situation. I'm sorry that it took me so long to do any of these things, right? And if you're crying right now, that's a sign that this is probably a really important step for you in your healing journey. You've come to a place, this is the relationship message. You've come to a place where forgiveness is necessary if you're to move forward. Separate or together, you and the other person are still experiencing the effects of a hurt that is impacting everything you do. Even if you're not aware of it, the energy needs to clear. What must you do to bridge this gap? Closing your heart is not the answer. You have the power to heal this wound. Ask yourself, what would love do? Only good will come of forgiveness and an honest redress. The open your heart thing made me think that one of the angelic messages that has come through for this month of March is that those of us who have open hearts are going to feel uplifted. It's going to feel like the 10 of Wands, where everything is just, the burden is taken away from you. There's no more heavy energy. The struggle is gone. And that is going to be true for many of us with open hearts. If your heart is closed, you're going to experience that in a much more diminished way. You're not going to have access to it. You're going to be stuck in karmic drama, focusing on wounds. So make sure your heart is open during this season. If you focus only on opening your heart, you'll be better off. The prosperity message is everyone makes mistakes, especially when you want something very badly. You may come to realize that in chasing after a pretty shiny thing, You lost sight of long-term sustainable prosperity. Sometimes you make choices that look good at first, but ultimately lead to loss or failure. It's time to forgive yourself and others. Don't blame anyone else. You get to start again, wiser and more mature. The journey to true abundance can be bumpy. Make amends to anyone you may have hurt along the way, especially yourself. Forgive those who may have taken advantage of you. Let go and learn from this. You are now that much closer to achieving the kind of prosperity that really fulfills you. Nothing is ever lost or wasted when you view it from this perspective. Holy moly. Wow. Okay. There's so many lessons coming through today. I hope that you can hear them not only as just information about this other person, which I'm sure is so helpful and comforting, but also just for yourself. Okay. Divine Feminine's messages. Fox Spirit, think on your feet. So Fox Spirit is here to guide you. It's number 27. And the messages. Be alert now, for Fox Spirit has appeared, and you are meant to move swiftly. Let this clever spirit draw out your creativity as you adjust to rapidly changing circumstances with resilience, grace, and astuteness. Fox Spirit helps you to think on your feet, using your best judgment and wits to help you slip into a more advantageous situation. Now is not a time to hesitate, but a time for swift action of the mind, a time to think outside the box and notice the many ways in which you might make a move, aware of your surroundings, and always clear on what you deserve and wish to co-create. Trust that your cleverness, guided by Fox Spirit, will serve you well. So much of this is coming through in the reading. For instance, the fast-moving energy of the Chariot and the fast-moving energy of the Knight of Swords, which is helping you to overcome that plodding energy of the Knight of Pentacles. So very, very poignant message coming through for you there. And your color cards for you. We have the Strength card coming out, which we also saw for Divine Masculine over there. But I'm going to read the color pink because we got the Love and the Sweetness card for you. So I think pink is more of a significant energy than red. But let's take a look at pink first. Okay, so pink. Pink, pink, pink. Think pink. All right. Pink is frequently associated with love, sweetness. Those are the two cards you got. Love, sweetness, nurturing, and compassion. And the masculine also got disruption too. So there's actually quite a lot of pink cards coming out. Pink roses are often associated with affection and gratitude. And in astrology, pink is aligned with the planet Venus, which rules over aesthetics and love. Rose quartz, a popular crystal known for its light pink hue, is said to be useful for connecting to matters of the heart and boosting feelings of self-love. Brighter shades of pink like magenta and fuchsia convey a sense of excitement, while lighter shades of pink are often used to bring feelings of relaxation into an environment. A common theme among the pink cards in this deck is tenderness and love, which are what you're working with if you draw mostly pink cards. Love and tenderness, either for yourself or another, are really all about approaching things with a sense of gentleness and sensitivity. How can you be more kind to yourself and others? How can you approach life with compassion and an open and soft heart? Beautiful. The Strength card says, this card refers to mental and emotional strength, not just physical strength. It's about finding the inner strength to face your fears, overcome obstacles, and move through difficult times. This card is a call to dig deep into yourself and tap into the parts that are strong and courageous, even when you might not feel that way. You'll discover that you hold the strength to overcome whatever you are going through right now. So that's definitely for those of you that may have recently had your faith tested in the journey. It's for those of you that are kind of a little bit overwhelmed and maybe freaking out a little bit about how fast things are going to move and how you need to think on your feet. And you're like, will I be able to do that? I mean, I have to like pack all my stuff, pack it into my car. I need to get my oil changed in my car. I need to get this done. And then I have to drive the car, you know, to where I'm going next. I have to like move into a new place. I have to settle into that place. I have to make sure that I have everything in place for doing that. And I have to be confident about my finances. You know how that goes. So just thinking on your feet, but believing you do have the strength to overcome this. And, you know, ask for support when you need it, because this is a column, right? This is showing a column. Columns are what support the structure of something. So if you want to be strong, ask for support. You know, I think a lot of people think that they're more strong if they can do it on their own. No, the more people you have supporting you, the stronger you are, the stronger your structure is. It can withstand shakeups like the tower, earthquakes, things that cause us to have things crumble around us. If there's no one around you for support, it's very hard to be strong. Now, that doesn't mean you can't be strong if you don't have a lot of supportive people around you. You can, but invite in support, because that's going to make you the strongest version of yourself. We have message in a bottle. The protection message is your final message. It's number 15 in the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. If you do not have this deck, I highly recommend it. I recommend it for tarot readers and for non-tarot readers alike. For tarot readers, I like it because as a tarot reader, I don't know about you, but when I try to read for myself and I pull just a tarot card, I will just think, my ego will just be like, oh, well, this is probably the worst thing ever. And that's probably what this card means. And when I pull the cards from this deck, the messages are so clear that your ego can't argue with them so much. You're like, oh, okay, well, that's what this means. They're just, Colette Baron Reid's decks are just written very well. So the protection message is, are you refusing to acknowledge the signs because you want things as you want them? Red flags are not pretty decorations for you to admire. They are warning you for a reason. If something doesn't sit right with you, trouble could be hiding in the bushes. Don't ignore the signs. Spirit always has your best interests at heart and will draw your attention to whatever you are overlooking. Bam. All right. I love that for us. So that is the conclusion of the collective Twin Flame tuning for today. I will continue right now to do some personal readings for those of you who want some. If you are on my TikTok, go over, click in my profile. There is PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. The PayPal it says support, and it's like help my band go to Nashville. But that is PayPal. So if you use that, you can use your PayPal account. But then there's also Venmo and Cash App. Send $11, $22, or $33, and I will read for you. $11 gets you 2 cards plus the bottom of the deck. Pretty deep reading. $22 gets you 3 cards, top and bottom of deck, and oracles. And the $33 reading gives you the $22 reading plus another deck and additional oracle. So if you're interested in that, click there. You can also find places to get private video readings sent to you. When you book a private video reading, they're called Q&As on the Tuned In Tarot page. When you book that, I have 7 days to fulfill that, but I usually do it within 48 hours. And then there's also the one-on-one, which is actually at a scheduled time so that we can meet up via a Google Meet link. So that is on sale for $55 right now. Probably in the next 24 hours, it will be going back to $111. So take advantage of that if you want to actually see my face. And then finally, for those that didn't hear the announcement in the beginning, I am working now with a company called Medium Chat. And I will be available over on Medium Chat. I have my own profile over there, which I will add to my Tuned In Tarot page soon so that you can find it easily. And it's chatting only. So it's not video or audio, but you can ask me questions and I will chat back with you. I can do readings and life coaching, whatever you need over there. And it might be a little bit more affordable than just doing like the personal one-on-one session. So you can consider that if you're kind of on a budget. And yeah, that is all. So YouTube people, I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you next week. And for those of you that are members, Don't forget, I have posted Tell Me Everything spreads for the last 3 weeks and no one has watched them. Full length Tell Me Everything spreads. They're an hour long. One, a while back, I stopped posting them because people stopped watching them. And I don't really want to do readings people aren't watching. So if you are finding that you are not wanting Tell Me Everything spreads anymore as a member, will you please email me and let me know what kind of readings you would like to see as a member? Financial readings, passion reading, like what do you think you need if it's not Tell Me Everything? Because I want to make sure my members are getting what they need. For those of you that would love to be able to see full length Tell Me Everything spreads, become a member at the link in my profile. It's only $5.55 a month. And you can see full length spreads. I usually do them on the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. And they are available from all the way back to last January, and they're timeless. So there's, probably at least 50 readings over there that you'll be able to see. If you are not able to afford personal one-on-one readings, you can still get those in-depth readings about the masculine and feminine energy and what they would say to each other. They're highly addictive readings. So go check them out. If you want to see what one looks like, I do have a few of them available on my Tuned In Tarot YouTube page. Just scroll down and you'll see that I'll do them sometimes as a special treat. I'll do like a collective one for everybody. So scroll down, you should find it somewhere there in my posted videos, either the lives or like the regular videos. It depends. And I think that's everything. So thank you so much, YouTubes. I will see you in a week. And if you want that personal reading, hop over to my Tuned In Tarot TikTok page. And I will be doing personal readings over here. Thanks so much and have a great day, everybody. Take care.